welcome to Side Character Quest. I am Lexi. Your host is...
This is Ty.
Hey!
Hey, everybody. You may have noticed that Lexi has a nice, shiny new microphone.
It's true.
Hopefully it sounds really nice now. We will see.
I also spent some of this weekend shouting, so I also have like I feel like I have a Delilah voice going on, you know, like, hi, welcome.
Welcome to... man, I don't know what she says. But yeah.
I don't either. And it went into the little, like, it was a little ASMR-y for a second. Just like...
We're gonna be playing some Dungeons and Dragons. We got some dice. Got some dice here.
This is your Dungeons and Dragons ASMR podcast.
It's D&D ASMR.
I guess tinglies.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's enough of that.
Yeah, that's enough of that. So where we left off, you were playing the human wizard named Annie, correct?
Annie. Yes.
She likes blankets. She's casts spells in an artistic manner, which I think is pretty cool. Draws things out and uses that to make her things happen. She is on her way. She is working on a spell, and she just needs to, go ahead and fetch some spell components for herself. Basically, some mushroom tops.
Is this a fetch quest?
Magical. It is a fetch quest.
It's a fetch quest.
It's a fetch quest. It's a side quest. It's a fetch quest. It's wonderful.
Side quest for a side character, and I love it.
Exactly. That is precisely what is happening.
It's almost like that's the conceit of the show.
Oh, I know, right?
Weird.
So when we last left off, you were about to collect these mushrooms from a nice old rundown fort in the woods. You know that these mushrooms are somewhere in like the basement area of this fort, somewhere down underground. You see in front of you this big open door for these ruins. Are you just gonna charge straight in, or are you gonna what? How are you doing this?
Well, first I'm gonna pull up a die rolling website.
Yes, I forgot. You do not have dice.
I don't.
No,
because I am a noob. Noob.
Such a noob.
Such a noob. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast. Great. I have a D20 pulled up. How am I gonna do this? Is the door wooden?
The door is just an open archway. You can just walk in if you want. I guess what I'm asking is, are you trying to take in any information about the place, or are you just gonna walk right in?
Yeah, I might take a tiny look around, do a little perception check.
Oh yeah, do me a little perception check.
And I got a 17. Holy cow.
17. Do you add anything to that?
Probably. I'm so good at D&D.
So good.
So good. Let's see if I do. My wisdom is +2, so I got a 19.
Snap. You learn so much. So there's a few things that you can gather.
Paint me a picture. Paint me a picture.
Yes. Paint your word picture. Well, you see in front of you. This old, these old ruins. You can tell that they are exceptionally old. You do not. This is a style of architecture that you are not really used to seeing in any of the cities. It's not a common thing. You're pretty well traveled, and you, specifically because of your interest in botany, have gone out into the woods a lot. So you have occasionally come across structures like this before, but it's not a thing that you are going to no modern stuff is built like this.
Gotcha. Is it stone?
It is stone.
Yeah.
It is mostly stone. There is a tree that has, it's 2 stories from what you can see. There to be a basement, but there's a smaller section on the roof that is slightly caved in with a tree that has fallen over a little bit and crashed through the left wall.
Gotcha.
If you're looking at the front door. I am going to orient you by saying, instead of saying left, I'm going to orient you by saying you are facing the front door. When you are facing the front door, you are headed north.
Okay.
So the door is on the south side of the building. The tree is sort of crashing through the second story west side of the building.
Great. And does the tree look normal-ish?
Yeah, it looks pretty normal.
Okay.
I'd say that like it doesn't strike you as like, it's not an ent. It's not a.
It's not a magical tree.
It's not a magical tree. It looks like it fell down maybe like somewhat recently. It's not completely rotted away. It looks pretty sturdy. Then there you can also see a couple of windows, but only on the second story. The first floor does not have any little like window slits or anything like that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what you see.
Great. So yeah, I just go rushing on in.
All right, you rush on in, and I will, since you did so well in that perception check, I will just read out to you what you see. You walk into this room, and you see in front of you a small, well, it's actually a pretty big space. It fills up, this room is the entire width of the fort, but it's not the entire depth of the fort. And there are you see two workspaces / desks on either side of the fort. There are also stone desk spaces in this foyer area. One of them has what looks like some sort of frame with some shredded paper behind it on the east side of the room. And there you also see a couple of doorways in the back of this space and a ladder also in the back going up. And yeah, that's what you see.
Okay. Does it look recent that these desks were used?
No, these desks look like if they had been made of wood, they would be like they look like they only are still around because they are made of rock.
Right. So like any sort of paper or anything like that has been on them is.
You take a look at one of them. You don't find any paper. You find what's the word? Tibs, nibs, like the little metal piece of some quills. You find those and like a little ink bottle that is dried out on the one on the left.
Oh man, if my character ever starts up a stationery shop, it's gonna be called Tibs Nibs.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Tibs nibs. Do you take a closer look at the sort of framed space, and it's just like that thing is just a bunch of paper, but it's too ripped apart. It's too old and worn for you to really read anything about it.
I'm imagining like at the beginning of Beauty and the Beast when the Beast like rips the painting of himself to shreds.
I am not 100% sure if that's what I was thinking of. But something makes me feel like, yes, that is exactly what I was thinking of when I was writing those notes.
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in A Tale as Old as Time, I think I am going to try for the latter. That seems to be the next sort of.
Okay. Yeah. So you walk over to the.
Is it going up or down?
It's going up.
It's going up.
Yes.
Great.
So you go over to the ladder and you look up. I assume you just like start climbing up it. And when you get up to the top, you see there's some like rubble, some large sheets of rock or brick that have just completely blocked up the passage where the ladder is going.
Gotcha. Okay. And there's no like way through it. It doesn't seem like there's a way through it. Like.
No, maybe if you were a halfling or a gnome or something, you might be able to squeeze your way through. But just as a human, you just cannot squeeze yourself up there.
Great news. I can no.
I mean, if you've got something, feel free. Free flow to use it.
Okay. Let's see. But there was another way to go, right? There was another way to go.
Yeah, there were two doors. There was one to the west of the ladder, and there was one to the east of the ladder.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm not gonna levitate all the rocks. I'm gonna climb back down. Because as cool as that would be, my magic use has been questionable. So I'm gonna climb back down, and I'm gonna try the eastern door.
Okay, this one is, this old like iron door, and you push your weight against it, and it shifts a little bit, and then you push a little bit harder, and it shifts a little bit, and then it pops open, lets you through.
It's gonna be like, and then I roll a die. No.
And then you roll the die. No. I'm not gonna make you roll a die for that.
Okay. I open a door.
Yes,
amazing.
you open the door.
I'm so strong.
So cool. Oh my gosh.
So cool. First I had to draw the door, then I opened it. Okay.
But yeah, you enter into this space, and it's just covered with, like, there's just a whole bunch of crap in this room. Just like boxes and barrels and all sorts of different things in here. It's pretty dark. The previous room, a lot of the wall had sort of like there were little holes in the wall and stuff letting in light. This one is a lot more shaded.
Right. I'm gonna do a perception check to roll around and look for mushrooms, because that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, sure.
And they might be in dark spaces. And I got a 7. How are the mushrooms looking? Maybe it's just very dark in here.
Yeah, so you start like looking for these mushrooms, trying to get an idea. You're not seeing anything plant-like. You're not noticing anything like that. You are seeing, there are a lot of these barrels that are just full of things. Like you see some like wooden stuff, some metal stuff. You see some a small like jail cell in the back of the space, or like iron bars kind of deal. But you don't notice anything magical. Doesn't catch your eye. Nothing plant like.
Fungal.
Nothing fungal. Oh yeah, I guess fungi are not plants, are they? So.
Well, technically, I guess not. They're weird. Guess not.
Yeah. Hey, here's a question. Question for you. Are mushrooms a vegetable?
Are mushrooms
a vegetable?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Because vegetables are like edible plants, right?
Yeah, but they're not all of edible plants, because fruits are plants and they're edible, but they are the ovaries. And vegetables are, I think, the leaves and roots.
Okay.
Of plants, and fungi and stems, maybe, because celery exists. But fungi don't have leaves, roots, or stems. They have
like caps and stuff. And stems.
Let's see.
Yeah, right. This is a really important question I'm asking you.
It really is. Is fungi a vegetable? Help me, Google. You are my only hope. Is fungi a vegetable? I bet the ancients would say it's a vegetable, right? When they're like, oh, animal, vegetable, or mineral.
I believe that.
A mushroom is neither a fruit. This is from Quick and Dirty Tips, Healthy Eating. Are mushrooms good for you? A mushroom is neither a fruit nor a vegetable. Technically, mushrooms aren't even plants.
They're fish.
They're a fish. Amazing. A notion that puts some people off. If you don't mind the fungus part, though, mushrooms are a great addition to a healthy diet. Not to mention, totally delicious. It seems like they are in the pro-mushroom camp over here at Quick and Dirty Tips, Healthy Eating.
I believe that. That makes sense. They're under Big Mushroom.
Big Mushroom has them right in that pocket.
But yeah, you don't find anything interesting in that room.
Well, I was right that they don't need light to grow, though, so that's nice. I think I'm just gonna like blithely walk on into the next room, assuming that there is a door.
Yeah,
beyond.
There is a door. Once again, you're able to just sort of shoulder it through, and you blithely walk on through. And while you are blithely walking on through, 1 second. Sorry. 1 second. Guys, hold on. Chill out. I'm just doing something, okay?
Okay. All right.
Gosh. While you are blithely rolling on through. Ooh, hello.
Oh, that's a lot of dice.
Yeah. You just sort of step forward and all of a sudden feel really bad pain as a bunch of needles slam into your calf.
Ow.
you have been needled. And the reason I did not ask you what your armor is because it was a critical hit. So it was double damage dice.
Oh, dang.
But the dice were, it was a very middling roll. Mm-hmm. So it was only 12 damage.
Good. 12 damage. 12?
Which could have been much worse. You find yourself facing a small helmet with something prickly on the inside. It's just sort of sitting on the ground. It's about calf high, and it just needled you.
A small helmet needled me?
Yeah, it's like a little helmet, a little metal helmet. It's not all helmet. There's some like green stuff out of the bottom of it that's kind of prickly and pointy, but it's a little helmet.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So
you kind of bumped. You were just like walking straight into this room and just sort of bumped into it, and it like just.
I bumped it. Did I just kick a cactus? I feel like that's what just happened.
That is you think correctly. That is exactly what just happened. You just kicked a cactus that is wearing a helmet.
Ah, good. Okay, great. Couple things here. I'm gonna need to. First, I'm gonna sit down and like pluck out all these needles from my calf muscle.
Okay.
And try to apply a healing salve, possibly.
Do you have one of those? And if so, go ahead.
Great question. I'm gonna say yeah.
I'm gonna say that because you were by yourself, I do not believe that you would have come out here without, I'll say, 2 healing potions.
Right, like just some sort of first aid kit.
Yes, because that would be very ridiculous for a somewhat experienced wizard who is traveling by themselves to not have a couple of healing potions. I'm gonna say roll a d4, and that's how many healing potions you have.
A d4? Okay, roll a d4. I can do that. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna roll a d4, and I got a 2, so I have 2 healing potions.
You have 2 healing potions.
Great. I'm gonna just like rub that one right on in, and then the healing potions heal me for D something, right?
A potion of healing in D&D 5e regains 2d4 plus 2 hit points. Yeah, which is actually not as good as I expected. I'm gonna give you a third one just because I want to be able to. I don't want to have to
be able to punch me a little.
I don't want to have to like hold your hand this whole time.
Right.
I want to be able to throw threats at you without like one thing. Except I don't.
No, it's the opposite. I heal for 9. Oh, this is great news, friend. Do you want to know why? Because I don't have that many hit points.
Nice.
I was down to 2.
How many do you have? Oh no! Oh man. Okay, see that's the reason I need to like start people at a higher level for this game. I see. We're learning.
We're learning things.
That's the thing, because like spells are one thing, but like I need to just like raise everybody's base HP just to be safe.
Yeah. This is great because now I said that I -9 and now my app wants me to death save roll. So I just will do the math and say that I have 11 right now. So okay. I feel great. These potions are a wonder. And then I'm gonna take some of these needles on with me because I am a botanist who is interested in things and I like having spell components.
All right, roll me a quick perception check.
I'm a roll a d20.
Also, I'm gonna say that you managed to get 7 nice intact needles.
Ooh, nice. Okay, 7 needles. Ooh, I got an 18. Sometimes I'm really perceptive.
Mm-hmm. You're so perceptive. You are so perceptive, in fact, that while you were plucking out these needles, you noticed that you were just sort of like very focused on this, trying to be careful, and you noticed that the cactus that you had kicked has sort of shifted into the corner of the room.
Oh, it moved?
It moved away from you. And you also noticed, since you got like, what was that, a 19?
An 18.
18. You also noticed another cactus also in that corner of the room where this one just like moved to. And this cactus, instead of having a helmet on the top of it, it has a little gauntlet on the top of it. And I will say that these cacti are sort of that they're not that flat pancake-like cacti. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, buddy.
These are the more...
I'm from Arizona.
Yeah.
You're talking about prickly pears. These are like barrel cacti or...
These are the ones that are like kind of cylindrical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they are. And they're...
Young saguaros or barrel cacti. Yes.
They are the thickness of like a person's head, skull, kind of.
Okay, yep. Mm-hmm.
But they're taller, maybe like 2.5 feet tall, something like that.
Okay, cool.
Both of them are sort of sitting in that corner.
And apparently they are in cahoots. I am going to apologize verbally to the cactus for kicking it in the face. I'm not sure that I know what these are.
Do you think you would?
Maybe I could roll for that. Or
I will say that you can roll for that, and because you're like a botanist, I'm gonna say you have advantage.
Okay.
Let's call it a nature check.
Is that wait, what was that? What was that?
A nature check is what that was.
A nature check. Okay, let's roll a nature check.
We're gonna just roll ourselves a nice little nature check.
A little nature check. We're in the woods. We're in the forest.
We're in the forest.
This is a bad bit.
Bad bit. I swear, like if I have not, I apologize, listeners. I am sure that Eli and I did an ASMR thing at some point. Like, it is impossible that it has not come up before, and I am sorry for subjecting you to it a second time.
Again? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I was just editing our last episode, and there are extended recurring potato talk, which I was just like, how much of this can I cut?
None of it. Potato talk is very important.
There was so many callbacks to it. I was like, if I cut one of these, I have to cut all of them. So yeah, it was just not going to happen. But anyway.
Oh my God, I am so good at nature. I rolled a 21 and then a 23.
Geez, you know exactly what these are.
I know exactly what these are. I know their names.
So you've never seen one of these guys before, because they don't actually live in this area. They're a lot more in the more southern plains on the southern side of the river.
Arid, dry area.
Yeah. Well, not really arid, but definitely relatively dry. They're farther down that way. But you know that these are a type of blight, a type of cactus blight, which is it's related to needle blights, which you have dealt with in the past. Mm-hmm. But it's not quite the same thing, which is my way of saying, hey guys, if the stats that I'm using do not 1-to-1 match up, that is why, because they are my thing.
Yeah.
They're not a D&D thing, as far as I know.
Right.
But you know them. They are as sentient as like a bug.
Okay.
You can talk to them if you want, but like, you talk to them like you would talk to a plant or something that you don't really expect to understand you.
Right. So I do apologize, but it's mostly for me. It's for my sake.
It's mostly for you. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I say, sorry, Mr. Cactus Blight. I would like to pass through this, and if you sting me again, there's going to be some problems.
It sort of shudders a little bit, but then just stays in place and does not move.
Wiggles its little...
The one that has the gauntlet on its head just sort of like lulls a little bit, and the fingers just sort of like flop down.
I wave back.
It looks sort of like oh shucks sort of motion.
Oh, stop.
Oh shucks, stop it. Oh man.
That's adorable.
You see in the back of this room, you see a metal grate. It's pretty rusted. It's like cast iron, and it is sort of at a slight angle, kind of like those basement cellar door things that you see in older buildings, not in any part of the world I've ever lived, but where I've seen it on TV. You can see through it, and it looks in the darkness below. It looks cold and damp and dark.
Promising. Okay, so I sort of once again blithely walk through this room and try to open that door.
You reach down and you try to open that door, and you find that unlike the doors before, it is not budging. You see that there is a keyhole on this
Lockaroonied.
On this cellar door. Yeah.
Okay, I am going to cast a spell, and the spell that I am going to cast is, well, great question. Such a good question. I think I'm going to cast Mage Hand. And the thing about Mage Hand, right, is Mage Hand a thing that, like, basically it gives you, like...
telekinesis?
And, like, do things? Yeah.
You can do things, but you can only do things that... Because basically what Mage Hand does is it's not straight up, like, telekinesis. It creates, like, a hand, a physical hand, that you can manipulate as if it was a regular hand at a distance. So it can't do anything that a hand couldn't do.
Hand couldn't do.
Yeah. So like, also, you can make that hand look like anything.
Hand.
Exactly.
Does just what a hand can do.
Does just what a hand can do, except that it can float without a body.
And I can make it look like anything.
Yeah, you can make it look like whatever.
I want to make it look like my friend Finger Keys. No. Its fingers are just a bunch of keys. It's amazing. Okay, no, I don't think Mage Hand is what I want to do. I think what I want to do is I'm going to cast a piece of magic. Is there, like, spell-less magic in this game?
I do not know what you mean.
So, like, I want to cast a spell. Oh, maybe this is prestidigitation. I want to cast minor illusion, and I want to trick it into thinking that it is unlocked. No. I think I want to cast prestidigitation.
Okay.
Let me describe what I'm imagining, and you say if this is, like, if it's prestidigitation. Hey, listeners, I don't know a lot of D&D, so bear with me. So what I want to do is I want to get out my pencil and get out one of the needles from the cactus that I just collected.
Interesting.
And I want to take the needle and I want to draw around it so that it looks more like a root than a needle. And I want to then pick the lock with the thing that I have just made and hope that the tumblers, like the root, can, like, prestidigitate its way through and poke out the tumblers.
I really like that. I'm not gonna give that to you.
Okay, dang it.
But I am going to say, for the sake of the fact that I really like that, I'm gonna say that you do that.
Okay, great.
Like Annie does try to make that work, and it doesn't work. It, like, creates like this sort of root key, but she finds that she cannot get it to be the correct key shape.
Right.
And so it does not work. But you do try, and it's pretty cool.
Look real cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because like a prestidigitation, one of the things it can do is create a non-magical trinket that can fit in your hand and last until the end of your next turn. So you could potentially do that, but it's like you would just have to keep trying different shapes until you found the right key shape, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that would take time.
That would take time. I will say that while you're doing this, it does cross your mind that if there's a lock, there's probably a key.
There's probably a key. Oh,
somewhere in this building, there is probably a key.
There's probably a key. Okay, all right, I could see that.
I'm going real Legend of Zelda on you. Like,
it's dangerous. Here, take this knowledge that locks have keys.
Yes.
Okay. Where? All right. I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it's maybe in the desk.
That's a possibility.
And it's maybe in the jail cell. And it might be in one of those crates that I just like breezed on blithely past. So I am going to backtrack back to the room with the crates in the jail cell.
Nice.
And I'm going to try really hard not to kick a cactus.
Cool. As you're leaving this room, you look behind you briefly, and you see one of those blights sort of like shifting its way back into the center of the room.
And I say,
And it sort of pauses for a moment.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I thought. And so then I just sort of hustle on past.
And then you close the door. And you go back into that room that you were in before. And you are looking around. And you mentioned those boxes, and
Yes.
you mentioned the jail cell. So I'm going to have you look around in both of those rooms.
Excellent. Do you want me to roll a perception check?
I will tell you, first of all, you look at the jail cell and you see that it has a similar lock on it.
Oh.
But you can see in the jail cell that there is like no space that there could be a key. Like it is bare, it is empty.
Right.
However, for perception check, I will let you roll for like looking through the barrels and stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
I will do that. I got a 15.
All right, a 15. So yeah, you look through this and you find a bunch of stuff in these barrels. You find in various barrels and crates and stuff. These all of the wooden stuff is like mostly falling apart. Like you find what appears to be like a very old broom leaning against the wall, and it's like mostly rotted and busted. But in the barrels themselves, you find a small crate of cannonballs. You find a small crate of shackles and chains, a chest that has what looks like just a random assortment of, like, a sword here, a dagger there, a gauntlet, a chest piece, just like random crap.
A sword everywhere, a sword.
Yeah. And like they're mostly rusted. The armor you actually notice looks very similar to what those cacti had on them. And in fact, there is one gauntlet. The one in the other room was a left hand, and this one is a right hand.
Handy has a friend.
Yeah.
I should probably not name him Handy.
You are fairly confident as you're going through this. You take everything out, and you do not find any keys in here. You do also notice, just like with the jail cell, that those shackles did have similar construction in their locks as the grate and as the jail cell.
Man, oh man.
Yeah.
So there's just like a master key somewhere. These guys were great at prisons, bad at key design.
Yeah, probably. Or maybe the people that made the locks, maybe one person made all of the locks and like used a similar design, even if it's not, if internally it has a different shape, the size is going to be similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great at forts. Bad at
Great at forts.
Great at forts, bad at creative lock design. Great. So I will. So I don't find anything in the crates, and I don't find anything in the jail cell.
Nothing particularly useful other than like what I mentioned.
All right, back to the desks it is.
All right. Once again, at these desks, you find that they both have a like center drawer that is, sort of you can pull out, and it has it's just made of stone. One of them has like really old, sort of rotted papers, and the other one doesn't really have anything in it.
Interesting. I'm gonna fish through the papers real quickly, just like making sure that there's nothing in there.
Yeah. So you fish through the papers, and it sort of crumbles a little bit in your hands. But you see that they look like it's kind of hard to make out the writing in them. But they've got One of them you notice has like a crest printed on it of like a boar, with some sort of, it looks sort of like a royal symbol or something like that. But other than that, you don't notice anything of particular use.
Okay.
You can't really make out any of the words or anything.
Then I go to the map thingy on the wall, or the paper on the wall.
Yeah, it was like this sort of framed paper that has been sort of shredded and faded and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can't really tell. I may have made up map.
Okay.
What is the thing in there? Is it a map or is it?
You may have made up map, but as you look at it, you're like, it kind of looks like a map. It's kind of hard to tell what it is of. Right. But it looks kind of like a map. Okay. It's too broken. It's too like just.
Oh man. Yeah. I have a very unfunny map joke. Are you ready for this?
I am so ready.
Does that map have a key?
Yes, it does have a key. It has a legend. In the top right, you can see that there's some stuff, some paper that is like missing, but you can see like half of a legend that has some like symbols, and it's in a box, and it's you can tell that there is a key.
Excellent. I don't suppose there's also a key.
No, there's not a physical key for unlocking things.
Okay, and there's not like if I were to take the map off of the wall, there's nothing behind.
You can actually see behind the map. You can see like the brick wall.
Okay.
Behind, because the frame is just sort of like holding it up there. It's not like there's not a back to the frame.
I'm mostly just looking for a fantasy hide key, and I bet that there's not one. So
not here, not at this particular spot.
Okay. You know what? It might be time to try door number 2.
Okay.
So I go to the western door.
Oh, sorry. Wait. I think I might have misspoke at some point.
The eastern door.
The room with all the supplies was not connected to the room with the iron grate.
Oh, okay.
The room with the iron grate was the western door.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So that room was on the west of the ladder. The supply room was on the east of the ladder.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So I have already tried door number 2, is what you're telling me.
You've already tried door number 2, yes.
Okay. Like, am I missing other places beyond? I could also go up the ladder and try to get through there through means?
Potentially.
But are there any other doorways that I've just spaced?
There's no other doorways. There might be other openings.
Right. If I exited the fort and wandered around it?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That is an interesting thought.
It's an interesting thought.
Yes.
Maybe what I see in this legend on the map. I'm also assuming that the map is of the fort, which might be incorrect.
It's kind of hard to tell with how much it's ripped apart.
Right. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna be like, maybe that legend looks like that has a door symbol, and I bet if it has a legend for it, there might be more than one. So I'll be like, Also, I'm a thinking person, and that seems reasonable. So I'm exiting the fort, and I'm gonna exit the fort, and I'm gonna turn. If I'm exiting and it's and the ladder is to the north, the door was to the south. So facing the fort is to the north. I'm gonna turn to the east and walk right.
Okay.
Along the edge of the wall.
So you walk right along the edge of the wall, and you see, beautiful forest.
Lovely.
You see some moss growing on the side of this this building.
Mushrooms?
No, there are some ferns.
Ferns. Okay. Also, are ferns vegetables? Never mind. We don't need to tell you about this now.
Oh no. I don't think you eat them. Is the problem. So no, probably not.
Oh man, I threw you off.
Yeah. So there's all these things, but nothing particular catches your eye. while you're walking on the east side. Go around the back. Once again, you don't really see anything on the back. And then you make your way to the western side of the building. And it's just, you see that tree that you had seen earlier.
Oh, yeah.
That is sort of like crashed through the second story of the building at a 45-degree angle.
All right. I'm going to climb up the tree.
Go for it.
Give
me an athletics check with a very low bar.
Okay. All right. That's good because I don't think athletics is necessarily my strong suit. I'm looking at.
Feel free to tell me if you want to try to give yourself advantage on that. Feel to tell me something that you do to make your climb a little bit safer.
Let's see. So athletics is strength.
I believe so. Yes.
Athletics.
Yes.
Is strength. Yes, it is. Okay. So that's a +1. And if I give myself advantage, I'm going to use my knowledge of botany and trees generally, and I'm going to scout out sort of a route that I'm going to use, right? Like I'm looking for I know which branches are going to be sturdier than others. I know which knots I can really hang on to.
Yeah.
And I see where the weak parts of the wood are, so I try not to step on those. And we'll see if that works. I'm going to change that to a 1, and I'm going to roll it. And it was not a natural 20. It was a modified 20.
Nice. Yeah, you make your way up. You grab onto a vine hanging off of a tree, sort of a rooty vine hanging off a tree that you use to brace yourself as you're climbing up. And you make your way straight up into this space, crawl through the busted down doorway, and you see in front of you 2 really, really busted up bed frames.
Oh.
You see a bunch of rubble on top of a small chest in front of one of them, and then you see another chest in front of the other one. You see that rubble also covering up most of a hole in the floor, which you assume connects to that ladder.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. And you also see little 4 on each wall. You see one on each surviving wall. You see one sort of slit window that's letting in light.
Okay, like archery windows.
Yeah, sort of like the old archery windows.
Gotcha. Cool. Great. Okay. Well, it's weird that there's a bedroom here. I guess it's not that weird. People got to sleep somewhere. Yeah, even in forts.
And this is like a fort. This is a pretty small fort. It's not like a army fort. It's more of a small place on some sort of ancient route, maybe.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's like Airbnb but for forts.
Yeah,
it's like exactly. Uber but for fantasy settings. I'm looking for 2 things here. I'm looking for a key, and I'm also looking for mushrooms because I know that mushrooms are probably not going to hang out on the second story, but listen, you never know.
Hey, if you find the mushrooms, you don't need to find the key.
Exactly. So I am going to roll a perception check.
Do it.
And it's a 7.
You find so many mushrooms. You find all of these mushrooms.
All the mushrooms.
You are looking around, and you sort of, as you're starting to climb down off of this rubble, you slip. You sort of land down on your hands and knees in a way that catches you off guard, and you do not really take in much more extra information just because it distracts you. Gotcha. So I'm not going to give you anything extra other than what I've told you already, which is enough for you to make your next move.
Oh. Listeners, what will she choose?
What will she do?
So now I am down. Have I fallen down the ladder, basically?
No. You've just sort of fallen onto. You were sort of on the precipice of the tree, and you were starting to walk into the room so you could sort of examine things more closely. And as you were stepping down, you stepped on a piece of rubble that was loose and just sort of slid down and landed onto the floor of the bedroom, and sort of scuffed your robes a little bit.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I cast magic missile at no. I just lose my temper and I kick the tree really hard is what I do.
Yeah.
And then I probably don't do that because I don't have that many hit points, generally speaking. So, let's see. All right. So the rubble is covering up a decent portion of this room.
Like the southwest corner of the room.
Okay.
So not tons. Basically, it's mostly just it's sort of crushed a corner of one of the beds and also the chest that's on the foot of the bed, and it's covered up the ladder hole.
A chest, you say?
Yes. There were two chests, one at the end of each bed.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Let me go check out that chest.
It's fun. I've had Eli, he's been listening to his episodes as they've come out.
Right.
And he said that it's so frustrating to listen back and be like, I can't believe I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Like during the episode, like what the hell? How did I miss that?
How did I spend so much time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
You miss things in the moment. Mm-hmm. That's okay. So yeah, there's two chests, one at the end of each bed. One of them is mostly crushed.
Okay. I check that one first.
Yeah, so you check this one. You don't really see a whole lot in there. Like you see the remains of what might be some clothes, maybe. You see like little inkwell and a small bound book
from Tibbs Dibs.
But it's once again like the book is so poorly like. It has not survived
the test of time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to next check the other chest.
That's a good idea. So you check the other chest, and in the other chest, you open it up, and it has actually been sealed pretty well. Somehow, you don't know. Maybe this is like magically inflected or something to protect the innards, or maybe it's just a very well constructed chest. But even though it looks very worn on the outside, the inside is like pretty well sealed. And the inside you see the remains of some clothing, some pretty bare bones clothing. Looks like some sort of maybe like a uniform or something. You see a little pouch, and you also see a small wooden box.
Okay. I'm going to check out the small wooden box first.
Okay. So you pick up this small wooden box, and there is a carving, a relief on the front of it. And let me describe that carving to you. One moment. Where did I write that description down? What the heck, Ty? Where is it? Oh, okay, here it is. So you see this carving that looks surprisingly like you weren't expecting to see something this well made out here. Like this looks like something that was probably treasured. Like it's the type of thing that you would expect to be like a family heirloom or something that would be passed down and not just like left to rot in a place. And it's got a scene on it of a field, and you looking at this scene, you see a sun, you see grasslands, you see a mouse that's like eating some grass in the grasslands, and you see a hawk flying up above. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Can I open it, or is it just a pretty box?
So you try to open it, and you can see that there is a seam, but you cannot. It won't open. And when you try to do that, it does jingle jangle a little bit on the inside.
Interesting. And I don't suppose my root key works on it.
There is no keyhole.
There's no keyhole. Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Do you examine it or something, trying to find a keyhole?
I'm not the most. I'm going to check the pouch first.
Okay. You check out the pouch and you find some very old coins.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, you find 7 gold pieces just
Fantastic.
like hanging out.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's all that's in the pouch.
Great. So I'm going to steal from some dead people.
Presumably.
Yep, they're probably dead.
I mean, they might just be really, really, really old.
Stealing from the elderly. That's my way. So I'm going to put those in my pocket. And then And there's nothing like it's clothes and these two things in the.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So I am going to spend some time staring at this box.
Cool.
So I think I'm going to investigate it or.
Do that.
Okay.
Yes.
And is investigation intelligence?
I think it's intelligence. I believe it is.
That sounds right.
I can look that up if you are unhappy with that ruling, then you can look it up. Otherwise, we'll just accept that.
That is what my app says, so that's nice.
Okay, cool.
Great. Rolling, and I got a 4. So yeah. It's a box.
Yeah, it's a box. I'm trying to think. Yeah, you realize this is a box. Mm-hmm. It's got like that hawk on it. It's got that sun on it, the mouse, the grasslands. And you can try to... Here's how we're going to do this. Mm-hmm. You can try to open the box some special way. Mm-hmm. Or you can suggest things that you might try to open the box, and one of them might lead to me giving you more information, or it might actually just work.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I have another idea for a thing that I'm not sure that there's a spell for.
Okay.
I can just tell that the listeners are going to be like, this nerd can't do D&D. So, maybe it's prestidigitation again, but probably not. I'm going to try. You can tell me that I can't do this, but I'm going to try to remind the wood what it once was.
What does that mean?
And hopefully, in making it feel alive, it will expand or grow or pop open or something.
Is that a how are you going to do this?
Great question, because I'm a magic person. It doesn't look like acid splash would work very well for that, does it? No. I'm thinking that it might be maybe a prestidigitation or... Ooh, I think I haven't decided my third cantrip yet, which is something that, generally speaking, people do beforehand. But there's one that's called Friends. And maybe what I'm doing is I'm making friends with the wood from the box.
I'm not going to let you do that. I tend to play pretty fast and loose with the rules here, but that's a little...
I'm just saying, if we were playing Dungeon World, I could do this.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Let's see, okay.
I've actually never played Dungeon World.
Yeah. That is, I think, neither have I. Let's be real, neither have I, but I've listened to a lot of podcasts with it, and I bet I could do that in Dungeon World. All right. So it could be mending.
Okay.
I'm thinking. And mending more in a spiritual sense. I wish I could say that with a straight face.
Yeah, I think you laughing like halfway through that sort of gives you your answer there.
Just how ridiculous that is. Okay, so maybe I don't remind the wood of what it once was, although that is like a super
it's
cool
very
thing.
It's very poetic. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Instead I cast alarm. No. Okay. So instead, I think all right, let's just do this the old-fashioned way without magic. I'm just gonna start rubbing my hands along the box and seeing what I can feel with my fingers.
So you are just rubbing your hands along the box, and while you're doing that, you find that the sun sort of presses in a little bit when you move your finger over it.
Oh shit! Oh shoot!
And it stays down.
Do you curse on this show?
I have no problem with cursing on the show.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Oh shit! So, is what I'm going to say to that. So it presses down. Excellent.
Yes, it presses down and stays down. The box does not open yet.
Okay. All right.
So let me remind you what you see on this box. You see a cloudless sky overlooking a field of grass. Mm-hmm. There is a mouse eating the grass, and there is a hawk looking down at the mouse.
Is Can I click and drag the hawk down to the mouse?
You try to click and drag the hawk, and when you click on the hawk, it presses down, and then it and the sun both pop back up.
Oh. Can I hit the hawk and the sun at the same time?
You do that, and then when you let go, they pop back up.
Okay.
So what you have learned so far, when you press down on the sun, it stays down. When you press down on the hawk after pressing down on the sun, it
clears
pops back
it.
up.
Reset.
Yes.
I am going to click on the mouse. I'm going to press down on the mouse.
You press down on the mouse, and with everything cleared, you press down on the mouse, and it presses down. And when you let go, it pops back up.
Okay, interesting. I am going to press down on the sun and then the mouse.
You do that, and it pops back up, both of them.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm going to press on the sun and the mouse at the same time.
They both pop back up.
Okay. I'm going to press on the... I haven't pressed on the grass yet.
You have not.
Let me press on the grass.
You press on the grass, and it pops back up. But you did not press on the sun first.
It clicks in and pops back up.
It clicks in, just like a little piece in front of the mouse.
Okay. I'm thinking this is a circle of life sort of a thing.
Okay.
I'm thinking that's what this is. So I am going to press on the sun, the grass, the mouse, the hawk.
You press on the sun, and it stays down. You press on the grass, it stays down. Then you do the mouse, then you do the hawk. They all stay down and then pop up, and the lid pops up. Hey! You did it.
I did it. I feel so good. I have solved your box puzzle.
Yes, you have.
Your puzzle box.
My puzzle box. Inside of the box, you see a set of iron keys.
Hey! I found keys.
You found keys.
This is fantastic. Okay, so.
And I think that we are going to stop right there.
That sounds great. I was going to suggest stopping after I open the door, but but this is as good a place as any. So great.
This is as good a place as any.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
What a cool little puzzle box.
Yeah, so you just solved the puzzle, and we're right. Yeah, it's good.
You know, I'm feeling like I understand why people play video games.
Right? Right.
I feel very accomplished. Woo! And I did it without having to spiritually remind the wood of what it once was.
Yeah.
Even though that would be super dope.
It would have been. I was prepared to let you just smash the box open.
Oh no!
Or I thought that maybe you would use prestidigitation to light a fire and burn it or something.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Which that would have worked as well. But then you would have had to wait for a little bit while the wood burned.
Right.
But yeah,
and the keys then would have to cool down, and also that's
down.
just. Plus, you made this cool puzzle.
It's a waste of a box.
I liked it.
I was gonna be like, oh, is she gonna break it? And then I'm gonna have to explain to people. All right, so this is what the puzzle was.
Right, exactly. For the listeners, here's my super cool puzzle.
Here's the puzzle that I made. So this has been Side Character Quest, and Lexi, would you please sign off for us?
Yeah. This is.
See what I did there? I set you up to fail.
It's this is also side character. All right. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna just start fresh, like you never said a dang thing, and I'm just gonna go for it. This has been Side Character Quest. With your host Ty, and I am Lexi, and he has woven a magical world of wonder and forts and dungeons and trees. And that has been your listening experience. And I'm hoping that Ty has just cut me off by this point and edited it all out.
I will have not. I've included every last bit of that. All right, everybody. See you in a fortnight. Have a lovely time.
Hear you in a fortnight. Only I can see you.
Wait, no. They're going to hear me. I'm not going to hear them unless they reach out. Feel free to reach out. Find us on Twitter or email or whatever.
There's a Twitter address. There's a
There
Twitter
is a
address.
Twitter address.
Say the thing.
It's at SCQ Podcast, which I also say in the little footnotes of the show, but I can say it here for the people that won't listen to the credits.
And that's SEQ, SCQ, like Side Character Quest Podcast.
That is correct.
Excellent.
Yeah, enjoy. Reach out to us. We can have a little conversation. Feel free to ask us questions. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks to the Joy Drops for the use of Not Drunk as our intro and outro music. Find them at thejoydrops.com. You can find us at sidecharacterquest.com, at SCQ Podcast on Twitter, or by email at sidecharacterquest@gmail.com. At this point, we don't have tons of messages, so we'll probably respond.
There'll be like a little music playing and then bloopers.
I repeated that because I dropped a die and it sort of, I'm worried it caught my words.
Wait, did you just accidentally roll it?
I just accidentally rolled a die. I was picking up my little notebook. See my little notebook?
Oh, it's a cute little notebook. It's got like little, very cool.
It was a gift, a birthday gift a while back. It's a Lord of the Rings Moleskine. I don't know why a Lord of the Rings one.
It has a red dragon on it.
It does have a red dragon on it.
It has black mountains.
I don't like, I like Lord of the Rings well enough, but not more than the average person. So I'm not sure exactly why I got this, but it's a very nice little book. So every time I've like gone through a recording, I have found moments where I'm like, okay, sorry, just a second, I've got to sneeze. And I never sneeze. It never happens.
Yeah, it was a really good series of gestures that you just did, though. That was great. It was like, yes. And then you find a Oh, my foot fell asleep. Here we go.